Instagram Live. It's been a long time since I've been live, and I won't take up too much of your night. And if you're watching this, feel free to say hi in the chat. But I had a bit of like a heartfelt moment that I wanted to share with you, and I think it would have been too long for a reel, but it's not going to be ages, I promise. And there's this space of like, I want to talk a little bit about the kind of healing and business, because say hello if you want. Because I just finished an intensive week, and full disclosure, if I get teary-eyed, I might legit get teary-eyed on this one. But, coaches I've had in the past have told me that, and when it comes to running my business, for example, I have to focus all in on one thing and do just that thing. And then I could look at maybe doing something else. And like, when you look in the business world, this is kind of the resounding message that's out there, right? When you look at the healing world and the healing journey world, it's like, this is the path, this is what you should do, this is what you should go down, this is who you should see. And I'm going to say, like, I don't believe that there's one way to heal, and I don't fucking believe that there's one way to run and build your business. Is there recommendations? Of course. But I am blessed to have built a business that lets me work one-on-one with clients in my clinic, and built an amazing clinic. I am blessed to be able to work with other clinicians who want to go deeper in this concussion space and understand how to work with more complex, persistent cases, to mentor and support them and watch them and cheer them on in the growth and thriving of their businesses. I get to be creative in my media outlets with my podcast and the round table and the speaking and the workshops I get to do. And I get to connect with people all over the world in the virtual stuff that I do. And so for me, it's so funny sometimes when the universe knows. So I would say, in terms of spirituality, like, I'm someone who, I believe there is a bigger existence out there, and I believe that there is something bigger than us. And so for me, I speak about it in terms of the universe. And I think sometimes when we're in a place where the universe knows we need to see some reassurance sort of thing, it delivers. And this week has been phenomenal for multiple reasons. It's been phenomenal because, one, I just got to work with two intensive clients of my own while watching one of my team members work with one of my therapists work with an intensive client, and watch the rest of my team working in mini intensives and with their other clients. And holy fuck, today, you guys, just being in that gym, right? So in our treatment room, in our clinic, we have different rooms, and we have our gym. And I was reassessing one of my clients, and just sitting in that space and hearing my therapists celebrate the wins with their clients on the other side of the door of the space that I was in, and hearing the clients' joy and hearing all these pieces was so rewarding, so rewarding. And then there's my clients. And my clients are phenomenal. My clients are phenomenal human beings, and they sometimes make me cry. And the one in particular today, we were sitting there with her and her husband and going over her assessment, and she's fucking crushed this week. And she just said to me, she started crying. She started crying. So then she's like, you gave me my life back, which is a huge thing. And I said to her, like I say to all my clients, no, I didn't. I said, you did the work. You showed up for yourself every single fucking day, and you did the work. But I believe my role in working with patients is that I am your guide. I act as your guide, and I have the ability to illuminate the path for you to follow to make the changes you desire to make in your life. That's my job. And then I give you the hope, the courage, the tools to be able to follow that path and make that change. So from a clinic perspective today, when you look at these different things that fill your cup so that you can have joy, right? So like, versus not get burnt out and run down. For me, being in that clinic today and seeing my team thrive, seeing and hearing the joy my favorite thing to do as a clinic owner when I'm present is to literally, like, I will jump in on sessions and I will have been able to watch people from a distance and to be able to see them and cheer the fuck on, like cheer them on like no tomorrow, and like be able to help identify like that change and that progress that they've achieved, because it's miraculous sometimes and it's so good. And so the energy in building the clinic in that way has been phenomenal. Hearing the wins from my clients today. But then I also, the round table, if you haven't watched the round table, it's our YouTube show that launched. I just want to read these messages that I got, because I've been in this space a long time and I've watched people come and go in this space. And I got this message, first of all, which is super cool. And it was just like, I loved your episode on what makes a concussion clinic legit. This was episode 2 of the round table. And she went on to say, mainly because I now feel like getting more standardized concussion care in Canada to be a cause that I deeply care about. Putting on my professional hat, when I'm not a concussion patient, I work in public health promotion and advocacy, systems change advocacy. So I've had in mind recently, I'd love to do more advocacy work towards establishing standardized care. Thus, reaching out to say, if you ever hear of this work being done or need a patient advocate or volunteer on your mission, please reach out. I was blown away. And then I get another message from someone who watches. So the round table, the whole point of the round table is unfiltered conversation. It's meant to open eyes, challenge mainstream viewpoints, give us a different lens, and to learn from the other professionals on the call. And this message last night, I got this message, made me bawl my eyes out. Maybe, again, I think I'm just tired, but it made me bawl my eyes out. And this person said, watching the roundtable episode 3 and hearing you talk about coach. Coach, or concussion coach, for those that don't know, was the very first online program I ever launched for individuals on a concussion healing journey. Oh gosh, I was a baby and didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But I launched this back in 2019. And so this person said, hearing you talk about coach and the comment you got when you first offered it. So the comments I got when I first created coach were like, this is disgusting. How could you ask people with brain injury for money? And I think I don't even remember the fee, but anyways. And this person goes, so I just want to offer you this. I don't even remember what I paid to join coach at the time. I do remember feeling like it was a leap, but I can tell you without any hesitation that you were the first provider who made me feel empowered as a patient, who made me feel heard, who gave me the tools to understand what the fuck was happening to me and why, and gave me the tools to work on it. And I will forever be grateful to you for that. So while I'm sure at the time it made you doubt everything, know that what you brought to the table, even in your baby Natasha phase, was what so many of us needed more than anything in the world. And thank you. And so I think when we look at being in this space, I've been in this space for a very long time. And both in the space of providing treatment, building a clinic that people can have exceptional treatment at and make progress, to then be able to then from there started my online stuff to support people with concussion, and then recognizing that if I was going to make really great change, I needed to go higher and I needed to work with the individuals that could help people so that people aren't having to travel from around the world and across Canada and across the United States to find somebody who can fucking understand what's going on with them, to validate with objective measures, to give guidance, to help you find that path forward, like the clients that come work with us. So my clinic is one space and people shouldn't have to travel around the world to come find it. And so for me, my journey of building change in this world, my journey to improve the standard is multi-pronged. And to every business coach that's coached me has said I have way too many things and way too many things on the go. Fuck, we launched a clothing line. Like, I've been told so many times that I have too many pieces. But for me, it all makes sense, right? For me, it's I had the clinic and I have the clinic, and that's where we can work one-on-one with people to make epic change. But then from there, supporting people online to help you recognize, what is great care, to help you find other people, but then to be able to support you in the more holistic pieces of what I do. And that's where mini school came out, and that's where my one-on-one coaching comes on, and that's where like my small group coaching comes in, to also recognizing people shouldn't have to travel 3,000 miles to come work with me. And so if I'm going to change that, I need to start supporting clinicians so that clinicians have the tools to do what we do here, but in their clinics, so that they can work with those challenging cases and those individuals that have seen multiple people and are still stuck, but know this is not what they have to live with. And that's what led to the start of Concussion Nerds and the amazing clinicians that I get to mentor and support in Concussion Nerds. We have nerds in Hawaii, in the US, across Canada, in New Zealand, in Australia. Like, we have nerds from all over the world, and it's just continuing to grow. We have people reaching out asking for specifically for if we have nerds in cities, because they recognize the difference that these clinicians are doing. And then from there, to grow even further, to be able to have the podcast, to have the roundtable, to be able to speak to reach that wider audience. I feel like this whole, and then it's just so crazy when you start to doubt things and wonder if you should scale back or whatever the shit. We launched a clothing line we launched Unseen Strength to, again, continue to have awareness and movements towards sharing people's stories. But when you have these moments when you're like, I'm tired, which full disclosure is this week, and you're like, I want to shut down for a little bit, and I want to restore, which I'm going to do, by the way. It's those moments that the universe pours into you and reminds you that every little piece of every element that you're doing matters. And those messages I read to you, and it was like, those came from people who watched the roundtable. I had Instagram messages from people who got value off Instagram. I had one-on-one clients who shared the value they got from their intensives. Every piece matters. And so in this really long tangenty video that I probably could have somehow found a way to cut down to 2 minutes or 1 minute, but if you've been here ever, you know that tangenting is what I do. I usually try to loop it back around. You don't have to do things the way everyone else is doing them. You don't have to be on a healing journey like every other person around you. It can look different. If you're starting a business, there's not one way to start a business. It can look different. You can build something that suits your life and your goals and your purpose and your passion. So that's my tangent. I didn't cry, which is great, because I probably cried enough with my patients today in good ways. But I'm going to record a new podcast tomorrow as well about the nervous system and some things that I'm seeing happen in this space. We all know the nervous system is one of my favorite topics, but I think that there's some narratives being spread around it that are actually doing people a disservice. And so I'm going to talk about that on my podcast tomorrow. So anyways, I'm going to go relax. Thanks for hanging out, whoever's still here live. So lovely to see some faces. Like I said, it's been a very long time since I've jumped online and rambled. But I hope you're all having a great night. And as you well know, my DMs are always open. So feel free to drop into them and say hello. Bye, guys.